All right, thank you guys. Happy Wednesday to you. Happy hump day to you. The weekend is right around the corner. Now, if you want to save yourself some time here, my quick pick recap is located at the end of the video. So all today's picks here for this video can actually be located at the end of the video in my quick pick recap. But anyway, let's take a look at some SEC football here. Auburn takes on Ole Miss, 12 p.m. Eastern start time. The Tigers of Auburn are the 3-point favorite on the road, total 70.5. Now, we are hitting at 65% in our last 21 crowd pleaser teasers on patreon.com/BrockPage. We're also hitting at 63% in our last 25 picks in that very same category. Now, we currently have over 795 members signed up and active on that page. And if you want to join those folks and get in on the action, link for that site is in the description section below. And once again, that's patreon.com/BrockPage. Now, the Rebels of Ole Miss are plus 135 on the money line. And if you like them to cover the 3, they're currently catching even money to cover the point spread. Now, the Rebels are on a 2-game losing streak, really struggling in the past couple of weeks. They were completely shut out in the first half of their most recent loss to Arkansas. They also gave up 63 to the Crimson Tide the week before that. Now, no surprise that they lost to Alabama, but they gave up 63 points to the Crimson Tide. Now, the Rebels are currently just 1-3 straight up on the season, and they're giving up a staggering 47 points a game. They're also 0-2 straight up at home, while this Ole Miss defense is giving up well over 300 yards passing per contest. They're also giving up nearly 10 yards per play. Now, they're taking on an Auburn crew who's garnered marquee wins over the likes of Arkansas and Kentucky this season. Now, the Tigers are also running it for 150 yards a game. And most of that is thanks to running back Tank Bigsby, who's rushing for 6.1 yards per carry. So really doing a nice job in terms of yards per clip. He's touched it 50 times for 303 yards and a touchdown. When it comes to the total in this one, Auburn saw 3 out of their last 4 stay under the posted total. They've also scored 30 points or less in all of their games, so I'm not really sure they're going to have the firepower to help put this one over. Meanwhile, Ole Miss is coming fresh off a game that stayed 24 points below the posted number themselves. So with all that said and done, give me the Auburn Tigers -3 and the under 70.5 in that game. And before we go ahead and move on, of course, as always, just want to take another quick time out and welcome you to the video. Got some lines and personal leans out for SEC football week 8. And, just trying something new here, breaking down the videos per conference. So we'll see how it goes. But anyway, know a lot of you guys out there love yourself some SEC football. I know I love SEC football, Big Ten. I love all college football. But anyway, just got to quickly remind you before we go ahead and move on that we are currently hitting at 65% our last 21 crowd pleaser teasers on patreon.com/BrockPage. And access to that content costs just $9.99. We're also hitting at 63% our last 25 picks in that very same category as well. Once again, we currently have over 795 members signed up and active on that site. And if you want to join them and get in on the action, link for that site is in the description section below. A lot of great stuff going on Patreon. And once again, that is patreon.com/BrockPage. And moving on, we're going to take a look at Kentucky squaring off against Missouri. And that's going to be a 4 p.m. Eastern start time. The Wildcats of Kentucky are the 5-point favorite on the road. Total's 47. Now, Mizzou's plus $1.85 for some money line cash. The Tigers lost 2 out of their first 3 contests of 2020. 23-point loss to Tennessee and a 19-point loss to the Crimson Tide. Now, they are taking on a Kentucky squad who's coming off a very impressive 34-7 victory over the Tennessee Volunteers. They actually held the ball scoreless in the entire second half in that matchup there, really playing some good defense, especially late in that contest. They also beat Mississippi State by the final of 24-2. Kind of a weird score there, 24-2 the week before that. This Wildcat secondary has 9 interceptions on the season, 2 by Kelvin Joseph out of the secondary, and 2 by linebacker Jamin Davis, who also has 35 tackles and a sack. And along with going 2-0 against the spread in their last couple of ball games, this Wildcat offense is averaging 33 points a game in their last 3 outings as well. Chris Rodriguez has carried it 46 times for 257 yards and 4 scores. And quarterback Terry Wilson is also averaging 4.5 yards a carry, and he's scored 3 times on the ground himself. And if Wilson does want to air it out, his favorite receiver has been Josh Ali, who has 22 catches for 246 yards. Now, total-wise, 3 out of Kentucky's last 4 games stayed under the total of 47 points. The Wildcats are also 2-0 to the under when they travel. And they've gone 9-2 to the under in their last 11 conference ball games, if you're into historical trends there. Meanwhile, the Tigers of Missoula on the other side, they went 9-3 to the under in their last dozen as home. Of course, that dates back to last season. Now, 5 out of their last 6 head-to-head meetings with Kentucky also stayed under the line. Give me the Kentucky Wildcats -5 and the under 47 in that contest. And with that, we're going to dive into our next and final matchup for the show. Only a handful of SEC games this week, but anyway, we're going to take a look at South Carolina squaring off against LSU. And that's going to be a 7 p.m. Eastern start time in the Bayou. The Tigers of Louisiana State are the 5.5-point favorite at home. Totals 55 flat. Now the Gamecocks are plus $1.85 for some money line cash. They're also currently on a 2-game winning streak and coming fresh off a 30-22 victory over Auburn. They actually held the Tigers to just 6 total points in the second half alone, certainly getting the job done in that regard. Now, this Gamecock defense allowed just 29 total points in their last 2 games. They also have 7 takeaways in their 4 games on the season as well. Very opportunistic on the defensive side of things. Defensive back J.C. Horn has a pair of interceptions along with 10 tackles for the Gamecocks. And Kingsley Enigbari also has 4 sacks on the year and 2 forced fumbles. Ernest Jones is currently leading the program with 36 total tackles on the season. Kind of seems like Jones is everywhere. He's always kind of in the mix pretty much on every play. But anyway, offensively, South Carolina is gaining 162 yards a game on the ground. Running back Kevin Harris has rushed for 409 yards and averages 5 yards a touch. He also rushed it in 6 times on the season as well. South Carolina, very, very good against the number. As a matter of fact, they're perfect against the number. 4-0 against the spread thus far for the season. Now they're taking on a struggling LSU program who's coming fresh off a loss to the previously winless Missouri Tigers. They gave up 45 total points to Mizzou in that contest. They also suffered an embarrassing double-digit Week 1 loss to Mississippi State in the opener, where they gave up 44 points. Now, LSU, this offense, they're rushing for less than 97 yards a game. Certainly different without Clyde Edwards-Helaire, and really, I think a lot of that is to blame on the offensive line. But anyway, total-wise, 2 out of LSU's 3 games on the season got well over the total of 55 points. You can thank the defense for that. Meanwhile, South Carolina is currently 3-1 to the over so far for the season themselves. 4 out of their last 6 head-to-head meetings with LSU also got over the line. So with all that said and done, give me the underdog Gamecocks of South Carolina plus 5.5 and the over 55 in that contest. And with that, we're going to dive into our quick pick recap, once again brought to you by patreon.com/BrockPage. We're going to lean toward the Auburn Tigers -3 and the under 70.5 in that game. We are also going to lean toward the Kentucky Wildcats -5 and the under 47. And then last but certainly not least, we are leaning toward the underdog South Carolina Gamecocks plus 5.5 and the over 55 in that contest. And with that, guys, that's going to do it for me. Don't forget to check me out on Patreon. If you guys decide to get a package here today, just keep in mind we'll bill you the day you sign up and then the first of every month following that. But most importantly, guys, got to thank you for joining me right here on YouTube. Really hope you enjoyed all this great free content, all this great free information. And with that said, happy Wednesday to you. Happy hump day to you. And I look forward to seeing you later on today on my website at patreon.com/BrockPage.